We're gonna do it like this.
Old school to new school, we got the interviews, B-Boy, Reg and Butter.
What up, though?
Rare footage and rhyme ciphers, producers and songwriters, our podcast is live.
Out cold.
You don't have to write bars to be a superstar. We interview them all, managers and A&Rs, hood legends and athletes and record execs. Your favorite rapper's favorite rapper may be on the show next. If you're trying to get lit, then our show is the light. Blue checks don't mean shit if the amount ain't right. Like, share, and subscribe. Comment when we live. We on all platforms, so you can watch anytime.
Funky fresh in the flesh, y'all.
Yo, what's up? This B-Boy Reg.
I'm DJ Butter, y'all. We funky fresh in the flesh.
Podcast.
Yes,
We got
yes.
special guests in the house.
Yes,
Jay
yes.
Bell, comedian Jay Bell, and
Yes.
his lovely wife, Peace.
Yeah, what
Right.
up, Tom? What up, Tom?
A man finds his peace, right?
One thing.
That's good. How y'all doing today?
Good.
It's good. It's raining, so it's a good day. Rain is always good. It's cleansing.
Rain is good?
It's cleansing.
Oh,
Especially on the wedding day.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a cleansing thing.
Bring that up.
Because we're married. No, but like, you know, if you have a sunny day, that's good. But when it's raining, it's cleansing those souls that have just come united. You know what I'm saying? Look that up if you don't believe me.
Okay. I learned
You gotta
something.
get deeper, yeah.
I learned something. Yeah. So tell us. So let's start with Jay. When did you start getting into comedy?
Man, in school, I was getting in trouble a lot, and my uncle told my mom that he not bad, he just bored. And it was true. So around 14 and 15, my homeboy got into a comedy competition at a talent show at our school, but outside, off school property. It's a very important reason I said that. So outside of school property, I co-wrote some of his jokes.
Okay.
So the jokes that I wrote hit, and then he deviated from the script and started cussing out all the administration and staff, which was genius because they couldn't suspend him because it wasn't on school grounds. It was the dopest thing ever. As soon as he blew his nose the wrong way, he was suspended. He was wild and stuff. But yeah, by the time, that was 14, 15, college and everything. By the time 2004, May 4th, at 9:42 p.m. was my first time doing stand-up.
Well, you remember the exact date.
Yeah, because it's important to me. Like, I did an hour and 45 minutes.
Wow.
First
On
time.
your
Like,
first gig?
so I was hosting for my cousin. My cousin is DJ composition. He's out of Grand Rapids, but he was down here.
Okay.
And he did a record release party. So we used to be at this spot in Hamtramck where they used to have ciphers and everything.
The Lush?
Yes,
Yep.
yes. They
Okay.
had this Corona and everything.
Wow,
It was all
shout out to the
cool.
Lush.
Right.
And, you know, cuz they did a record release party at Red Apple Gallery on 227 Iron Street, right off Jefferson. And he was like, yo, I want you to host it because you funny. And I was like, yeah, all right, cool. What I got to do? He was like, you know, do 10 minutes set and then bring up the acts. I said, I'll do 3.
Right.
Did my 3 minutes, went on, and then later on in the night, all the acts went up, you know, did their thing. But it was like 12:30. We had the place till 2. So
Right.
he was like, yo, cuz, go ahead and go do your thing. I was like, it don't work like that.
Right.
So he was like, what you need? I said, a double shot of Henny, and we can get this thing moving. So
Right.
he gave me that. I stood up on stage like 8 seconds, and then I just went and started going. And it was so wild because it felt like it was like 25, maybe 15 minutes. And I look over to my left, and he like, cut, because they're recording at the time.
Right.
So I get off stage, and he hit me in the chest, and he was like, cuz, I thought you said you didn't have it in you. I was like, I know, I was in the zone. He was like, man, you did an hour and a half, an hour and 45 minutes. I got 90-minute tapes. I had to change the tape, and you filled both of them up.
Wow.
And then we went back to his crib, and everybody mobbed back, and we was just watching it. And a few people was like, so y'all recorded this so I can buy this? And I was just like, man, this is crazy. Coco was there at my first
Right.
show. And it was amazing. Like, she's been a mentor of mine since day one.
Right.
So it's, man, May 4th, 2004, 9:42 p.m. Yeah.
All right.
Mark that.
So
Tell us about how you guys balance rejection in the entertainment business. Just as a couple, you know.
and managing entertainment and marriage. Both of those. Yeah.
Rejection. Have we had a lot of rejection, baby. Like,
Okay,
I mean,
okay.
honestly,
I'm
I'm just
clear
thinking
about
about,
this.
like,
Peace doesn't get it. Okay, Peace doesn't get rejected. If the question is more directed towards me. Okay, because when we first got together, like October 19th, it'll be our 10th year anniversary, right? So as we first started dating 10 years ago, I'm kind of still on the cusp of getting where I need to be as a comedian.
Right.
Peace is peace. It's like, yo, peace, like peace, like everybody peace, nigga. Like,
Right.
Yeah, peace. Oh my God. Like, so she's on that. So I have never seen that rejection side. For me, I have had to scratch, claw, fight. You got to figure in comedy, we consider the comedians we start with, that's our class. Like, so in my class, it's like Heather J, Mike Larry, Josh Adams. You know what I'm saying? It's some funny people in my class, and they came off the gate just killing it. And I kind of like had to build my way up, and it was like, dang, you started with them. Well, I don't remember you. Like, it's that. So the rejection I take, I kind of like, it fuels me. And rejection for me isn't a no. It's more of a I bombed. I did terrible this night at the show.
Right.
So I got to go back. Like, I got to go back at this spot and rip at Mandy's or Blackberries or, you know what I'm saying, or Baker's or anywhere they had a spot that I did terrible at. I got to go in here and I got to go own this room. That's what rejection does. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's the form of rejection I received. I ain't never seen
in that regard, though,
Yeah.
because of what I do is competitive. Slam poetry is very competitive. So naturally, I have had losses, had some wins, but have losses as well. And Jay said it. He spoke into it. Those losses really motivate you. You know what I'm saying? To keep going. It inspires you to write better. It helps you. Kind of changing your mindset, this is not really a loss. It's just really a gain or another opportunity to get better. So that's what it is for me.
All I heard was, the battle is not yours. It's the Lord's.
Peace, when did you start writing poems?
I started writing poetry when I was a young girl.
Okay.
Maybe about 9, 10. Grief prompted me to start writing.
Okay.
Found myself in this shell. Lost my grandmother, tragic loss of my cousin. I didn't know how to accept them not being, present in the physical anymore. So I found myself writing, and I kind of wrote myself out of my box. I didn't realize it was a healing for me then,
Right.
but I realize it now, how much that writing helped me to get through the grieving process of my cousin being tragically killed and my grandmother passing. So yeah, it started young for me.
When did you start performing like at open mics and that type of thing?
I threw myself out in my first poetry slam in 2007, 2008. The DSO was having their poetry slam. It was hosted at the time by Kalima Lock Mama Johnson, who's an amazing artist here in the city. And
Kalima, she just they had like a sorority thing
yep,
today.
that's her.
She was one of the original female rappers here.
Are you kidding me?
Nikki D.
Yeah.
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 Y'all don't know who Nikki D is? So
Ebony in her business.
So she had the name Nikki D, and then Def Jam had a female artist called Nikki D. So she changed her name to Ebony in her business.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Yeah, she was like one.
Tidbit.
She was like one of the first, earlier the first female.
You can Google it.
Man.
You're gonna see it.
That's
Yep.
dope. That's dope. Yep. Kalima was hosting that night, and
Okay.
I saw it. I don't know how I came across it, but I saw it. I'm like, I'm going. I'm competing, and threw myself in there and won first place.
Wow.
And that's kind of how the ball started rolling for me,
Right.
as it relates to poetry and performance.
Now poetry slams. Is it like a rap battle when y'all just
Pretty
going?
much.
Is it
Pretty
more
much.
aggressive poetry, or is it kind of like you just do whatever poem you think is gonna resonate?
You can do whatever you feel is going to resonate.
Right.
But seasoned poets know I gotta come with my A game. You know what
Okay.
I'm saying? I gotta
Yeah.
come. These words right here gotta go. Like, you know what
Right.
I'm saying? So What? It's like the Olympics.
It is.
The Olympics for writers.
And I'm a spectator at watching it because I always, you know what I'm saying, I'm watching the slam, and it's come to a point where I can't watch it anymore because I'm like, man, there's some bullshit. Like, a 9.8. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm selecting every time to see a 10. But I've noticed, and I hope the poetry community sees me because I ain't scared. I've noticed that people that have the most downtrodden, trudge through the mud, like nobody positive wins slams. And that's a problem for me. It's always, as a child, nobody understood or would hear me, so I knew I was deaf. I knew I was untouchable, even if my uncle touched me. And it's like, there's a whole bunch of that going on.
Right.
And then that's the one they be like, oh my God. Oh my God. Dang. And then when the piece comes up there and she gives you, what do? I paint. I paint pictures. I paint pictures with words. I paint pictures with words with other words adorned. Like, when she hits you with this,
I was gonna tell you, keep going.
Keep going, Jay. Don't get me started now, baby. You know what? Come on now.
Hey, let me ask y'all this. Since you're doing that, do y'all ever try each other's art? Like, have you ever tried stand up?
Before on the couch. Before I say that much.
Okay.
I did my funny poems at a comedy show.
Okay.
Sometimes, like the other night, I was on the ball, y'all. I was on the roll, as they say. And I was in my zone. I was in my funny zone.
Right.
I was in my monologue zone. But we said we was gonna try that though. We was gonna switch it up.
I'll get it.
He does it a lot though. He'll do a freestyle poem.
But it always ends up with something funny because it's like I can't be too serious all the time. Because like if I do what I want to do as far as poetry, I'm gonna be out here and I'm gonna be like I gotta find a place where I can perform and smoke at the same time. Right. It's a lot. Like, you know what I'm saying? Bearing your soul for the first time for the first poem is a lot. Now, at some point, it becomes repetition and it becomes show and it becomes you add these movements and this and that and different changes to the stanzas. And yeah, that's cool. But when you first initially bearing your soul on some real stuff, it's a lot of emotion behind it.
Right.
That's why I can't get with some of the slams because I'm like, man, I done seen you do that before. You just added 3 more lines, though, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Hey, tell us, if y'all had a budget to do Love Jones 2 in Detroit, who would you pick?
man, I'm telling you right now, me and Peace is in it, and we not the married couple in it.
What are we?
Come on, man. You got to call me to read this. Get this together. But I ain't gonna hold you up, or I ain't even gonna bullshit you on that. Definitely will put Joe Fluent in it. Gotta put Josh Adams in it. He would definitely play in the Bill Bellamy role. Phoenix.
Yeah. Her singing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Ooh, that was a great question. That was because I'm sitting here casting it.
That's what we
It's ironic because the show that I'm doing tonight is called Love Jones.
Wow.
And Angela Davis is there. Myself, recording artist Frank Simmons, and hosted by LaShawn. So I know she'll be pitching in some songs and poems as well. Jessica Caramore gotta be.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
It gotta be.
like Omari
Absolutely.
King White. I gotta have Katrina Storm. I gotta put Mike Larry. Like, it's just the thing that's so dope about what we do is it's a plethora of artists that just come at you, and it's not just poets, it's entertainers in the city of Detroit. So like, that was a great question, bro. Like, who is
We got another one.
we doing this? Here we come to it.
If you had a budget to do a Harlem Nights Detroit style, who would you put in there?
All right, watch this. And I've actually thought about this. Martini Harris would definitely be Richard.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Without a doubt, yeah.
Without a doubt. Howie Bell, Shiny D, definitely in the Della Reese role. Without a doubt.
Yeah.
Dead or Alive, Downtown Tony Brown would be playing the Red Fox again.
Oh, that's
Tony
yeah.
Like
Wow.
for real. Eddie is so tough because his charisma on that stage or in that movie is something different. You know what I'm saying? I had to get back to you on that one, but I mean, Josh definitely, man. But Josh Funny it's like I feel like Josh, you can't put Josh Funny in a box. And a lot of time, like when I was doing plays for comedy, I don't mean to deviate, but when I was doing comedy and doing stage plays, the stage plays made my comedy better because I was put into a box. And it's like, man, I can't operate like this because in comedy I can go here and I can go here and I got to switch here fast. Right. So my comedy got better because now I'm going more aggressive because in a play I have to say A so you can say B so we can get to C. Comedy world, this cup can talk.
And you forgot the most important character in Harlem Nights.
Who's that?
Sunshine.
Sunshine.
We're going to play Sunshine.
KashDoll player.
Hey, that only makes sense. That only makes sense.
You used to work with KashDoll.
I did.
Right?
I worked.
Wow,
We used to work at Best Buy out in Southfield, slanging TVs. Wow. And I'll never forget this. She was telling me about everything that she was gonna do. She's doing right now. Like, and this was had to be like the crash was in 2008, so it's like 2011 or something like that. But she has said like a lot of like now watch this. Mark my words. Do not be surprised if KashDoll marries Trey Songz. Okay, and this the only reason I can say this is because when he came, he had an album out. He came to Best Buy. And he was signing autographs. This was like the last time they was really selling. Like really. Like it was crazy. So, you know, they got the line in there and everything. And KashDoll goes get the autograph. And she come back. She was like, I touched his hand and I felt something.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I really think I'm about to be in this Trey
She
Songz.
felt his hand.
So I don't always think about that. When I seen on the BET Wars on the Cypher, I was like, oh, she about to get with Trey Songz.
Wow.
That's about to happen.
Wow.
Look out. Look out.
Hey, I want to ask Peace, how do y'all manage family life? Because you all got kids and all that. And are any of your kids artists or trying to be artists?
Yes.
You better tell them how many we got now.
Yes, we have 14 together.
Wow.
And pretty much 90% of them, if not a little more, are artists.
Right.
They make music. They're producing. My daughter is in Louisville now doing a whole production in Kentucky, Louisville, with the Louisville Theater out there. Pretty much all of them are artists.
Right.
In some form or fashion.
Shots producing.
And geographic arts. Yeah.
Nas producing and doing music. Josh is a designer. Like,
Yeah, they all have a creative niche.
a creative niche. Like, so yeah, it's with no beatings. Okay.
Okay.
We ain't to Joe Jackson nobody.
Right.
Yeah, it's the truth. It's the truth. It's the truth. I think we manage because we have a great support system.
Okay.
I think if we didn't have that support system, it would be a little more difficult for us to kind of maneuver the way we do, you know, to be able to have the bookings that we do and, you know, being able to fulfill, you know, these different roles.
To my sister and Yasa and Miss
Becky, yeah, they hold
babysitters.
they hold us
Okay.
down.
All right.
They hold us down so that we could do what we need to do. So the support system is critical for
Okay.
us, for sure.
So it was comedy needed in the pandemic, like a month.
Yeah.
Right.
I know y'all was busy then, right?
No, I got a trade skill, brother. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I learned how to do heating and cooling. I'm not even shout out like hey, shout out for that. Listen, everybody was on some. We about to do virtual shows, and I did 2 of them, and they were fun. But for me, I was like, this is insanity, because you know, the crowd and everything, and I'm in front of a video twisting my hair talking about just life issues in the pandemic, and talking about how this will test a relationship. I'm watching how my wife chew. You know, it's something about the way you chew.
Right.
Just getting on my, like, you know what I'm saying? So there was definitely funny stuff that went on, but after so long, it was kind of like,
Yeah.
I'm about, you know what? I'm about to wear this mask and go to the show. They having one tonight. They everybody gonna be 6 feet apart. And they started opening up this, and it was like, thank God, because in that time, like, the comedy that's all I was doing.
Right.
So to have that, and Peace was doing poetry. So to have that shut down, it was kind of like, all right, what do you do next? Got in at a movie company, making $10 an hour,
Right.
working. You know what I'm saying? And I'm talking about coming home, going to sleep, work. Peace can't work with me one day. You listen. It was for real. And then the grace of God, you know what I'm saying? I got the heating and cooling opportunity and learned a trade skill. You know what I'm saying? By just being a personality and being a comedian. And shout out to Good Helpers Heating and Cooling, because Kip was the one that put me together with that. Like, he was like,
Man, hold up, man. I've been knowing you for a minute. You just not mentioning Kip.
Wow.
that's what I
Kip
want.
do a lot of my inspections for me when I need furnace certs and stuff.
Paul.
All right.
Yeah.
All
So
right.
that, when I say
Yeah.
during the pandemic, because Kip, he sponsors a lot of shows. He sponsors one of our shows.
Okay.
So it's like, yeah, Kip was like, yo, hey, listen.
Yeah.
He was like, I haven't taught anybody this in 7 years.
Right.
Because every time he shows somebody something, they tend to leave a veer off. I said, I want to learn the skill,
Right.
so I got a skill to continue to do what I do.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because and I've done construction before, but out of all this, man, I'm not saying it's easy. I enjoy it, so it is easy to me.
Right.
I don't enjoy putting up drywall or framing out a frame and putting up doors and all that stuff. Putting a
Right.
toilet in and all. No, I don't mind putting a furnace in or ductwork up or a hot water heater, not a hot water tank, a hot water heater
Yeah,
up,
right.
and doing my like Reggie seen. I was in here looking at the spiral ductwork in here. I'm like, oh, okay, all right. They go, okay, I see you reduced it to the 12. Okay, like paying attention to it because I love doing it. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? A long time, it was always a bad thing for a comedian to have a job or a trade skill.
We see that a lot
Yeah.
with
Real comedians
MCs.
don't work.
Yeah, we like, oh, he got a job. He work at Home Depot. Like, no, you got to feed your family.
Yeah.
And this, you can still make it, but you got to make something in the meantime.
Yeah. That is that's a bitter saying when somebody says that, because the ones I know that didn't have a job and they just did comedy struggled. Some are still struggling because they have this mantra of, if you get a job, then you're not a real comedian.
Right.
Nah, you a comedian, you just dumb. You know what I'm saying? You just not taking care of your responsibilities. It don't mean nothing that you negated or gave up on your dream or your Proverbs 18 and 16. Your talents, your gifts will make room for you and bring you before the great. But people are scared to step out firmly on faith and understand that this net is there for a reason. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes you got to fall.
All right, so I got a question for Peace. So, first of all, do y'all try material out in front of each other?
Yes.
Yes.
All right.
Absolutely.
So, are you brutally honest with him? Like, if a joke ain't funny, you would be like, nah.
Yeah, it's rare.
How
but
do you say it? Like, what you mean?
Like,
It ain't.
babe, that ain't it.
Right.
Do you ever say something you be like, that ain't gonna go over with the females?
No, not really.
Okay.
It's more like it's not funny.
That way.
Okay.
The delivery wasn't funny, but the premise is.
And sometimes
Okay.
I'll offer up like suggestions on why don't you say this? He'd be like, yeah, that's funny as hell.
All right.
So
So you was shooting in the gym. You ain't just say you like
Yeah,
it.
right.
Right,
So,
and
listen,
everything.
man, some of the stuff that y'all don't see,
Yeah.
me and this one be talking about, boy. And I'll be like, I can't say that. You can't say it. Like,
Right.
like I can't say it. I'm like, hey, baby, right. Not, and that's why they say is a godsend for us, because every Thursday it's open.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm new every Thursday. You know, let me
Right.
throw this out there and let me shoot this and see. Man, I'm talking about. Oh, what was I talking? I talked about something last week. I had wrote it down, and it's just. Yeah, look, I gotta look it up now. I'm
Yeah,
telling you.
and I love seeing that because when Jay first invited me down, and he was like, yeah, me and my wife, I didn't know the dynamics of it. And I was like, oh, y'all really do this together.
Yeah.
Not like she at the door, you at the door. It was like y'all both performing, y'all both hosting, entertaining, engaging the crowd. So that was good.
Yeah, I found it. It was about the children doing so children have a lot of pressure right now.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and they got a different pressure than we did. Like back in the day when we got homework from a class that was due you got it on Monday, it was due Wednesday, or this is due by Friday, or you got till next week. Like they give these children these homework packets now. You know what I'm saying? And it's like front and back pages.
Yeah.
Like, it's like 10 pages.
Right.
And they get it on Monday and it's due Friday. My daughter, 6-year-old Jade, will knock this out. Cold. Kill it.
Right.
8-year-old JJ, our son, he in there pulling his hair out like, Dad, I'm not gonna graduate. I'm like, you're in the second grade. What are you doing? You're all right, man. It's a different form of pressure.
Yeah.
Right. That stuff is like, I gotta write this.
Right.
Like, look at what I put there.
Hey, let me ask you this piece. So like when you guys are like preparing for shows and everything, are you ever like on the spot coming up with material as far as your poems, or like you always prepare in advance? Okay. So no freestyle in the
I
poems.
always prepare.
You read in the room. You read the room and do a different job.
Well, I have freestyle,
Okay.
because it's common for artists to drop their poems, or for poets to drop their poems, or
Right.
forget a line, and I have to freestyle this thing, improvise, until I get to wherever I'm familiar, and then go. So yeah, in that regard, freestyle, absolutely. But I usually try to definitely be
Right.
prepared.
Okay, what's proper in the poetic world? Is it the finger snap or the hand clap?
Finger snaps, definitely.
Okay.
That's the culture. But it's so funny because I did one show and the snaps was so. I was like, you know what? F this, y'all just clap, clap, y'all.
They had the little soft finger snaps. Like, what's going on?
Snaps not loud enough.
Right.
But yeah, that's the culture to snap. You know what I'm saying? And the reason being is sometimes the claps can throw the artist off.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Or
The snaps can too, because you see some people like these are fine, but you like, I feel like it's like, excuse me, could you come in real quick? Like, that's very disrespectful.
Like a little saucy.
Yeah, like a little saucy right now. Yeah, excuse me. Right. Yeah, no,
That's funny.
yes, queen.
Jay, what's the funniest movie to you?
My favorite movie of all time. I'll let my wife answer this. What's my favorite movie of all time? Ain't no in here.
This like one of them game shows.
but no.
That's yours.
Yeah, that's mine.
Same actor though.
It's not Trading Places.
No. I'll answer that.
Yeah, please.
No, it's Coming to America.
Come to
Listen, Coming to America. If you ever had one movie you can watch, Coming to America is always something new. I have watched that movie since '88. I watched that in the theater with my family, and my mama covered my eyes when the girl showed her titties getting out the bathtub. I watched that movie, and it's always something new I see, or something new over here. Airport scene with Jake, and you look at the background, and it's a dope movie, and it has so much meat in it, and the characteristics, and seeing our culture from a foreigner's eyes, and seeing what the development of a family and royalty, and how money doesn't mean anything, and what love is to you, and what this will do to you. That's why it was hard for me to watch the Coming to America 2. I had to go into it like it was a totally different movie, because if I had watched it like this was a sequel, it would have tainted it.
Right.
It would have tainted it. Even though it was so many backgrounds and flashbacks from the past. No. Coming to America was now mind you, with the exception of the cab driver and I think we'll say the cab driver and the two bums and the guy that worked in the kitchen. 4.
Right.
The rest of the cast was black.
Right.
Yeah.
Everybody in that movie at that time was black. The main character was black. The supporting character was black. You know what I'm saying? So, and this is '88.
Right.
I can't believe that's been that long.
Yeah, it was '88.
Yeah.
It was '88 when that movie came out.
Before that, what was the one you liked before that?
Before that, it was Beverly Hills Cop. Beverly Hills Cop. Let me tell you something, bro.
Was you digging Run Scared, Richard Pryor?
No, I never thought Richard was funny. I never thought. I thought him
on film anyway.
on
right?
film and stand up nothing. Because to understand Richard's jokes, you actually have to understand life a little more.
Right.
And as a child, Eddie was this quick, fast talking, and then he made situations.
Right.
Like I saw situations he would do funny. Richard, I didn't see that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So what later on in life I could say,
He was practically up there crying, banging
Yeah.
himself.
pretty. I mean, that's what most comedians do.
When we was younger, Richard, most of what we heard on Richard was audio, because you gotta remember a lot of his stuff wasn't on prime time or in the movie theaters.
Nor could we afford it if it was on prime time.
I'm gonna ask y'all 2 questions, right? And y'all gotta pick one. So I'm gonna start with you since you did the comedians. You kind of blew it though, but Richard Pryor, Eddie Murphy, Red Fox, Robin Harris.
As far as comedy goes,
Just overall. period.
in order.
If you had to pick one and say this the only comedian,
Baby
comedy
Kiss,
actor
Duzzy,
I
all
can
that
listen
stuff
to
was
from
in
now on.
I'm going to say Eddie.
Okay.
But I listen. It's almost a tie, and I want to say it's tied with Robin. And a lot of people will be like, wait a minute, what about Red Fox? What about Rich? Yeah, no. Robin Harris was that guy. Was always funny, but was he single-handedly gave you Def Jam and wasn't even around to see it.
Right.
Everything that Robin Harris did is what Def Jam is.
Yep.
And the main nucleus that came out of Def Jam with the "I Ain't Scared of You" motherfuckers from Bernie Mac
Right, yep.
is Robin Harris. Even though Robin Harris was out in L.A. giving them fire, Robin
Right.
Harris from Chicago,
Right.
Southside guy.
Okay.
So it's Bernie. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Now, if you look at this lineage, look at it's something different in the water in Illinois,
Right.
because that's where Richard Pryor's from.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's from Peoria.
Peoria. Yeah.
Red Fox is known as Chicago Red
Right.
because when he was tight with Malcolm,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? They called him Detroit Red.
Yeah.
And they were cool. So it's like it's something different in that water in Illinois.
Right.
Not to say it's slouching on anybody else, but yeah, man. But Robin Harris is it's close. It's a hair lash. It's a blink close. Because Eddie was just funny and doing Richard Pryor style,
Right.
if that makes sense. Eddie, when he first got on stage, he was 15.
Right.
And they would say, what would you do? He was like, well, I would do Richard Pryor and I would do shit jokes. And they was like, why would you do shit jokes? He was like, because at that time, that's all I had done in life.
Right.
And I was like, that's profound.
Tell us some, since it's not comedy albums like it used to be. Everybody kind of ran to Netflix from Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
Watching, I seen Red Fox, the story of him losing all his possessions and stuff. And watching that, I said, damn, comedians have a hard time making the world laugh. And a lot of this stuff is not monetized. People fighting over jokes and things. What do y'all do as a couple to protect that, your legacy, residual income, and your history with each other, and just to keep your thing going? Mm-hmm.
Well, thankfully, we have a company by the name of Funny Acting Entertainment, and a lot of our intellectual property is under that guideline. So thank God we got the right people around us that have told us about our intellectual property and what it means. And this is a little different than back in the day. Back in the day, like, I'll say this. It's some Detroit comedians that have beef because other Detroit comedians have used their material and have been successful with it. Right. To the point where they can't use the material anymore because now it's signed to HBO or Cinemax or Fox. And since they did the deal with them and used their joke, they have that material. And if you don't have anything saying or representing that, it's just you're at a loss. Right. And that taught me in seeing things like that to you need to get your stuff together and get up on your game and take nothing for granted. Right. You know what I'm saying? So this young lady right here, album, MC, spitting, right. It's all under the proper guidelines of, producing and BMIs and everything that's musically inclined. She has that under her company, Peace Bell. So it's understanding the business side because it is show business. Right. And we always, I say this to a lot of young comedians that want to get in the game. Like, everybody want to shoot the video, but don't nobody want to write the lyrics. Right. You know what I'm saying? Don't nobody want to sit in that room and be like, for hours with the beat. Like, no, that ain't right. That ain't
Right.
all right. And then get in that booth and go crazy. And then you shoot the video on some braggadocious shit. But like to come down here and actually work, is you have to get books. You have to learn this because everybody ain't gonna tell you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Write
Like,
screenplays and stuff like that.
we working on a sitcom right now with a good brother, a good comedian, man, and it's looking good for a few networks, like for real. I've assisted on a few. I'm co-writing on a movie right now, and got to get in the works of doing my own. Because in our family, like our nephew is a writer. He's a writer for Tracy Morgan for the last OG show, and was a writer for Oprah's Love Is, and you know what I'm saying. So like just that, and that writing's a lot.
Right.
Like shout out to Yamanika Sanders. She's one of the writers on that damn Michael Shea show, and I got a chance to pick her brain, and she was telling me what they had to do.
Right.
And I was like, so when you write, what do you have to do? Well, she was like, well, I punch up lines. So when I get the script from the writers, we look over it and we punch up this line, we punch up that line, we send it back to the writers. It comes back to us. We go over it again. We may punch it up one more time, send it back. They'll send it to us. Either we're going to punch it up one more time, send it back to them, or we'll move it forward so the cast can go over it. And I was like, oh, basically school.
Right.
We go to school every day. And it was just like, wow, but that's the difference. And we always try to find this quick way out of this quick money scheme and this quick, all you got to do is get you a 2-family flat and move somebody Section 8 in, and you get like, no, it's research. It's, man, how long you know what I'm saying? I just talked to you, and it's like trying to find this niche.
Right.
And perfecting it is a career. Right. It's not a job, it's a career, and it's ongoing. People don't retire from careers, they retire from jobs.
Right. You did something with Kevin Hart. Hart was it Heart of the City?
Yes,
Okay.
Kevin Hart, Heart of the City, man. And shout out to Plastic Up Boy, shout out to K Hart, man. Joey Wells was my homie. And Joey Wells came up with this idea, pitched to Kev about going into major cities,
right,
and finding the top talent in each cities. And giving them an opportunity, a platform, no matter what their age is. Because a lot of these new shows, it's like, yeah, you got to be 15 to 24, and then that's it. And like, what about the 33-year-old? Like, so I auditioned for it along, like, it was 3 audition days. I know on my audition day, it was 25 comedians.
Wow.
And I heard it was like a circuit of 75, 80 comedians, and they only picked 4 from Michigan. Well, 4 from Detroit.
Right.
So, you know, me, myself, Alton Boogie, Jeff Horst, and Mike Jeter, we got picked. Ironically enough, the call came. So I was in jail. All right. Super transparent. I was in jail for about 8-9 days. I get out and I'm in a play. So everybody in the play know, you know, J Bell locked up. It is what it is. Right. Get to play rehearsal after I get locked out. I mean, after I get out, and we rehearsing in the homie's basement, and nobody gets cell phone reception. Nobody.
Right.
My phone rings. It's this guy named Logan from Comedy Central.
Wow.
When he calls, I'm like, yo, like, hey, what's going on? He's like, hey, this is Logan from Comedy Central. We just want to know that you're a finalist for Heart of the City with Kevin Hart. Hold on. I'm like, all right. Hey, how you doing, Jay? I was like, yo. Like, oh, this is the wildest thing ever. Wow. Hey, I just want to let you know, man, congratulations, man. We'll be there August 4th. And this, like, it was just going too fast. And I was like, man, whatever. And I'm thinking it's a prank. He was like, don't hang up. And I was like, all right, well, I'm not. And the rundown from the show, he put Logan back on. And he told me when they would be in. April 3rd, we would do the interview. April 4th, we shot the show. And it was just a bunch of amazing stuff happening. But let's go back to this jail for a second.
Yeah.
I fasted. I didn't eat anything. I didn't drink anything. I didn't have anything. I mean, not just because the food was nasty, because I ain't gonna have to scrap nobody. You know what I'm saying? Like that. I'm not eating this garbage, no way. So in that time, I was writing down things. You know what I'm saying? I was writing down, want to do comedy on a bigger level. I want to work with some of the funniest people in comedy. I want to be on national TV. Right. I want to sign deals. I want to, you know what I'm saying? Everything that I wanted to do, and just sat there and really had the time and patience because I didn't have no cell phone or any other thing where my meditation time was really worth it.
Right.
So in that moment when I'm talking about you get out and you really click, because my wife, you know what I'm saying, she's fasting right now. So I know she's mental. It's wild right now. Forget 11-11. You can manifest right now. Manifest me a coffee, baby. I bet you'll pop up. But it's that power right there was so amazing to me, and I was like, yo, okay, like right. And then we got the Comedy Central, and it hit, and our Detroit episode was like the #1 episode that season. Wow. Yeah, it was, and funny guys on there too. Yeah.
What message y'all got for creative couples like y'all, man? Just to keep the jail going. You usually got one entertainer, and then you got one accountant, but y'all.
Sure.
Yeah, what advice y'all got for that?
Keep the creativity in the marriage, you know what I'm saying? And let it spill over into the work. Marriage is definitely work. And I think when we work on the marriage, everything else kind of spills over. So keep the creativity in the marriage. And I think it just spills over, into the work, Go ahead, cause I see.
You know me. I'm a talker now. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, he's over talking his wife. My wife, he's coming to see her on stage, and you can see her talk. No, when I first met this beautiful woman, I didn't meet her as an entertainer. I met her as peace.
Right.
So it was like, all right, cool. Like when we met May 9th at like 9:48 a.m. You know what I'm saying? On some
Man, you
May 9th, 9:48 a.m. Promise you. Because I
play this in a lottery.
right.
People no. And I do that because it means something to me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So since May 9th, 2013 at 9:48 a.m., we've never not stopped talking. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's an anniversary along with October 19th at 10:42 a.m. when we said our dues. You know what I'm saying? So
Man, you never get in trouble, huh?
No. I do. Trust me, I do. You know what I'm saying? I may not take that garbage out, but remember at 10:42 on October 19th, like that don't work then.
Right.
But I know when I first saw her perform, it was July 5th, 2013. I'll never forget it, and it was breathtaking.
Wow.
It was breathtaking. It was because that was the first time both of us had saw each other perform. Because she had a feature at this place called Manila Bay, and I had just signed the mic just to go up, and that was the first time she saw me do comedy, and it was the first time I saw her do poetry. And I noticed, I said, I just signed the mic.
Right.
She was featuring at these spots. You know what I'm saying? So when she got up there, she featured. She had a bass player by the name of Kev out of Artist Village, and right there on Grand River and Lasher.
Yeah.
And Kev was doing this smooth bass riff. And Peace was up there, and statue of sculpted nerve. Solid rock is your DNA. I'm talking about. She's literally pulling up here. She showed me the video of that night.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Because Nikki had dropped us off there, and that was the first time I was like really meeting her family. And it was like, I remember that so vividly because I had to snap out of it for a second to see. I definitely. And I wanted to stay. Sometimes you ever daydream and want to stay daydreaming, and somehow you're like, dang, I was really feeling that. Right. You know what I'm saying? So, out of God's grace and me snapping out of it, I was able to see the crowd, and I was able to see how they were responding to her. It's y'all ever seen Happy Feet when the Penguins are just doing that?
Oh yeah.
And that's how everybody was just grooving to every word she said. And I was like, ooh, we can do something with this. Now other things are starting to pop in my head like, yo, we can work. Like, yo, we can do this. If I step my game up on this, she already got this side of it now. And from the grace of God, we inherited, they say.
Right.
We didn't start that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It was passed down from Katrina Storm. You know what I'm saying? So when we got that, it was kind of like everything that was put into place or was meditated on came into fruition like off that. Yeah, man. So the advice I will give to those that are entertainer and couples is be transparent, be respectful, take time and learn patience, because where you're strong at, they're going to be weak at. Where you're weak at, they're going to be strong at. and learn to lean. We always got this thing right now where we can't lean on nobody. I can't ask nobody for no help because you feel like somebody gonna ask for something in return.
Right.
Well, so what? Good.
Right.
Because giving is a good thing. The problem is that we don't want to give, but we damn sure want to receive.
Right.
So my advice to you is just be ready to give and receive. And sometimes you find the people that don't want to receive. That's a sin too. Receive, don't block your blessings. Because sometimes after a while you block them enough, you're going to stop getting.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So just, you know what I'm saying, do your best. That's all you can do as a couple is do your best. But make sure you're doing your best.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people's like, do your best. Like, I'm trying to get the good. Grab that goddamn cup. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Hey, Peace, I want to ask you, and you can add one if you want, because the reason we do this so we can educate our listeners and our audience. So you get to choose one, right?
Okay.
All right. Nikki Giovanni, Gwendolyn Brooks, Sonia Sanchez, Tanya Moore. Was it Toni Morrison? Yeah, Toni Morrison. Yeah.
Nikki Giovanni.
Nikki
I just did. I've always loved her work and admired her work, but I just really got into like her history with my young children. They had to choose an artist and choose a poet, and Nikki was just profound. But the fact that she's still doing what she's doing to this day, and now on the teaching end of that. One of the things that I'm doing right now is I teach literary arts right now.
Okay.
So, yeah, it would have to be Nikki, man. She's still out here doing her thing. You know?
Okay. All right. And as far as writing poems now, what's inspiring you now to write?
Definitely what's going on in the world.
Okay.
And also, a lot of my poetry comes from an internal space. So, what I may have been dealing with years ago is different right now. So I find that the more vulnerable I am, the deeper I reach within self and share, like it's relatable.
Okay.
You know, it's relatable. The more vulnerable I am. So the things that are going on in the world, what I'm internally battling seems to be the thing that others kind of hit with others as well.
Right. Right. And
You get to a point where you feel like you give yourself too much to the stage or to the crowd. Like it's like even if you in pain about a joke or something, you banging on one of your relatives or something in front of the crowd. You get off stage, it's like, damn, I should not have talked about Cousin Eddie or whatever.
You don't be very well. Some of my coldest jokes is about funerals in my family.
Oh,
I got a joke about my dad
Oh, that's
and his leg getting amputated.
Oh, wow.
Got a cold joke about my Aunt Peggy at my grandmother's funeral. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, no, I ain't no off limits.
you don't stop them?
No, I'm listening.
She grabbed her drink.
Sometimes I'll be over in the corner like,
No, because at this point I'm ripping. I'm like, wow, this is funny. Because you know what? And a lot of stuff that goes like, all right, I'll give you an example of a joke. When my father died, you know how I am with these times and dates. January 5th,
Right.
2019, 9:28 p.m. You can look it up. All this stuff is on record. It was traumatic. I lost my best friend. But it was some bullshit that came along with losing him. Yeah. Like, y'all ever lost anybody close? Mm-hmm. All right. Have you ever heard this when you lose somebody close? If you ever need anything, let me know. That shit pissed me off.
Fake as hell.
It's fake as hell. And I'm like, you know what? The next person that asks me, do I need something, I'm going to tell them exactly what I need.
Right, groceries.
Right?
Here it is.
Cousin called me and said, hey, cuz, heard about Unc, man, I'm going to miss Unc. If you ever need anything, let me know. I said, cuz, I do. I need $7,000. He was like, for the funerals? Hell no, I'll get my license back. I've been driving dirty since Obama was a senator. You know what I'm saying? But that's for real.
Right.
I'm a man. It don't matter. If it's something that I'm going through and I can find a way to make it funny, Usually it's just telling it the way it is.
Right.
And it's funny. And I can add little quicks and whips here. But for the most part, nah.
So you not vulnerable, and she is vulnerable with the poetry.
I'm talking about my. I'm transparent. Yeah.
Okay.
Right. I'm gonna talk to you like this is what's going on. I'm not gonna tell you how I feel about it. You're absolutely right. I'm not gonna be like, yeah, you know what? If I could cry on this stage right now, I would. But let me tell you about this goddamn amputation. Like, no, I'm that definitely vulnerable. Definitely. Like, my wife has told her whole life in poem form, in poetry form. And each stanza was its own poem. So yeah. It's
Let me ask y'all this, right? And this for both of y'all. If it was any hip hop artist that you would think would be the hip hop version of your art and how you create, what artist would that be?
Lauryn Hill.
Okay.
Rakim.
She said it quick.
No. Lauryn Hill and Rakim, she's their baby.
Right.
That is possible now. That is possible. Probably I had to say like 2022 Will Smith, because I'm slapping the shit no. As far like hip hop, man, like I want
You got
to.
a quick trigger, though.
Oh man, fast with it. I'm a combination of Malcolm, Martin, and Eddie, but no,
Right.
but for real, like if if I'm in my political zone, thought all day. I'm Black Thought. If I'm in my about to grind on some, I gotta tell these jokes in front of these drug dealers, I'm Meth.
Okay.
I'm an iron lung, and I'm a talking till you feel it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And you gonna feel it off rip. And if I'm in front of this gonna sound crazy. If I'm in front of a bunch of like old people,
right,
or like church people, call me Kane. I'm
okay.
smooth operating that boy. I'm smooth operating that boy. Hey, how you doing, Sister Carl? Yeah, got jokes for all of them, man.
Okay.
Got jokes for all of them. So yeah, it's levels to it. But yeah, man. Yeah, that thought is the one for me. Because thought can hit so many levels on so many stuff and talks about so many things and be so relevant in the moment and still bring you from back in the past, and just how he does it so eloquently and just nice with his words. His English is bananas. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I like to pride myself on, because every comedian got a niche.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you got to have something that's like, yeah, everybody was funny on the show, but he was different. It was something about him that was different. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And you got to pride yourself on that.
What talk about the difference between IG comedians and comedians as a whole? Like, you see IG comedians have 5 million followers. And they make their skit.
You about to have
He started this shit. He just did. He started this shit. No. When it first hit big, I was one of those comedians. It was like, fuck it. Like, I was adamantly, stop calling them comedians. They not coming. Like, can you do us? And then I got to the point where I heard somebody say, well, they're in a comedic form.
Right.
Like Anthony Anderson he's not a stand-up.
Right.
I've seen him try to do stand-up. You know what I'm saying? He's a comedic actor. Right. And he's good at it. Right. Smokey from not Smokey, but Ezell.
Yeah.
Started doing comedy after Friday.
Right.
And this is what I've been told. I'm not 100%, but I was told he was doing comedy after Friday because he was just so funny in Friday. And I had to start realizing that, it's just changing. It's just changing. Now, the true competitive nature of this is with me in the mirror. You know what I'm saying? How can I beat him? But when it come down to it, and you like, yo, like, yeah, we gonna try you out.
Right. Because
now it goes upon followings. And y'all gonna have me open that mug?
Right.
It's gonna be bad. It's gonna be bad because I'm a trained comedian.
Right.
The ins and outs, the ups and downs, bottles thrown at my head, getting jokes better, being worked better, being told that we don't have the money for the show. Everything, all that pain that I take on the stage, every time I go up, thank God.
Right.
So it's one thing to be an IG comedian, they funny in these videos, but you ain't got an ed and cut it team when you on this stage.
You seen T.I. perform?
I have. With Tony Roberts in Atlanta. was the first time I saw him. Like Tony Roberts' friend of the family. So yeah. So Tony gave him some time on stage, and T.I. was very lukewarm, and he acknowledged it. He said, "I appreciate all the chuckles, but that's not the laughs I was looking for." And I was,
That's actually funny in itself.
Yeah, to him acknowledge that. I was like, oh, okay, that's dope.
He said some big words to us.
I know y'all want me to say climactic expression and everything. And the truth is, that ain't what I'm going to do. Like, he was going and doing this thing, and it was dope. It was dope to see him. And I think he was given the green light, which is okay. I just think they put him on too many big stages too early. Yeah. Like you on. I think it was some tour going on, like
Madison
Square. Why are you here? You ain't even supposed to be here.
Right.
Like, and Kool-Aid used to say something. I will talk to Kool-Aid. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace, Kool-Aid.
And he would say, I used to say, I want to do the Fox so bad. He said, you ready for the Fox?
Right.
I was like, what you talking about? He was like, Jay, you got a solid 15, 20 behind you that you can get put up on the Fox? Right. And I was like, I got a good 10. He was like, well, that ain't good enough because it's easy to go from who is that to who is that fast. Wow. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So when everybody talk about, like I said, this whole music video everybody want to see in, you ain't writing no quality lyrics.
Right.
And you'll get put on that pedestal, and I've seen it happen. It's like you had a great night. I've seen young comedians come in, and the vets will see them. They have a great night. It's not so much about being funny. It's about how consistently are you being funny.
Okay.
Can you go up there every night and go kill it? And I'm not saying people don't have bad nights. Chappelle done proved that here.
Right.
But can you consistently go up there and like, we about to give you a hot 15 and knock that 15 out, and then are you good enough to not be that funny? Can you go on stage and do this 7 to 8 and make sure you don't give the next guy a hard time?
Right.
Because in our culture, I've been trained to make the next man work harder than you did.
Right.
But when you get further advanced, it's kind of like, such and such don't want to work that hard tonight. Right. You think you can tone it down a little bit? And then if you can, cool. If you can't, then what happens is, they give you the rest of your contractual money and they send you on your way. And then it's statements, depending on how you leave, that you're difficult to work with because you're funny. It's a crazy game. It's ups and downs. It's levels to anything. Shout out to you, Bill Hill. But it's crazy how that is. And I know comedians that's 30,000 on these tours and stuff, and here's the rest of your money. They don't need you anymore because they couldn't follow them the previous night. So it's a up and down thing. But these Instagram comedians are getting a lot of notoriety. Like right now, you can't get booked in a comedy club unless you got over 10,000 followers.
Damn.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with being funny anymore.
Even if you got a reputation for like tearing down shows,
that helps. That helps. Like if you got a reputation for tearing down shows, that helps. Right. But at the end of the day, these comedy clubs, the first thing they're gonna ask you is, how many followers do you have?
And people can have a ton of followers and not have stage presence.
Doesn't matter. They're gonna sell tickets.
That's crazy.
They're gonna sell tickets. T.I.'s gonna sell tickets.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? No matter how. And then the people that he have with him is funny.
Right.
Like, so you know what I'm saying? Like, he just has to be funny enough to be T.I. and funny.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's good.
Right.
But everybody around him better be killing that shit.
Yeah.
Because that'll deflate fast.
Yeah, because they'd be like, the show was whack.
Yeah, absolutely.
We showed up, but it was whack.
It was whack. Yeah. It was whack. And that man, people spread bad news well.
You know what? I always wonder, some comedians I wouldn't see. I consider myself funny sometimes.
Okay.
But I wanted to give some comedians some advice. There's 3 words that y'all should learn how to use. Mm-hmm. Not you, because you're actually funny. Those 3 words are, that's my time. I don't think enough comedians use that enough soon enough. Because I've seen some comedians and they just, it's like their ego is saying, keep going. But then inside, they really need to do the Chris Webber and be like,
time out.
That's my time. Yeah. Like, if you bombing, you got to know, right?
No.
Okay.
No, you want to eat that. You know what I'm saying? I used to hate bombing. And then it was like, I got to eat
Do you keep going through your act?
Yeah. I'll put you like this. I do my time. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? I do like if I'm slated to do 7 minutes, then I'm doing 7 minutes. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? You're absolutely right. Learn when to get off, but at some point in being a better comedian, you have to fight through that and
Right.
try to pick that thing up, because you ain't gonna, like you're not always gonna come out white hot. And this is for comedians that just start.
Right.
You're not gonna come out blazing. So what happens is sometimes you gotta pull that thing back. You gotta kind of like, all right, how can I lift this plane up and stuff like that.
Right.
If you can't, cool. But you have to learn how to do it, because I've had sets where I started terrible and ended up with a standing ovation.
Okay.
You know
So
what I'm
you
saying?
recovered.
So you recover. But
read the room.
I read the room wrong, and then I figured out how to read it right.
Right.
But a problem that you're addressing, Reggie, is that in Detroit,
Right.
comedians get an infinity amount of time sometimes.
Yeah, like 3 minutes,
And
right?
no.
Oh.
I've seen new cats get 15, 20 minutes. And you go to New York, you're not getting that.
Right.
You get 3 minutes. And go over that time if you want to. You'll never perform in that club again. Well, at least in the next 10 years.
Wow.
But here it's kind of like, well, that's all right. And it destroys the quality of the show.
Right.
But it's not. Here it's a money game.
Right.
If the ass is in the seats and people came and paid for the show, it is what it is. They don't care.
Right.
Yeah.
Peace, how do you read the room? Like, do you change your delivery style? Like, when you write a poem, are you writing it like I'm gonna use my hands like this, and I'm gonna say this versus this, and do you change up based on the crowd response or who's in the crowd?
I do change up. I always read the audience.
Okay.
It lets me know if it's an audience of older people, then I know not to really do this hip hop piece. I know to do, I'll be able to figure, okay, this piece would be better for this crowd.
Right.
If it's a younger crowd, then I'll stick to the more pieces, the more hip hop style pieces
Right.
that would kind of, be more relatable. So I do read the crowd. And as far as movements, slam poetry, yeah. In slam poetry, sometimes movements are choreographed with what you're saying.
Okay.
But when I'm doing just other performances, it's in the moment. I'm in the moment.
Right.
Yeah,
What
absolutely.
about this? If God gave you a choice to say peace, we want you to help make world peace. Let me get your poetry on this one particular record. Which record would that be? Old and new?
Are you talking about with a certain artist?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, wow.
Wow.
The influence of it all. That's the end all be all record.
I would So my two favorite artists of all time is definitely Lauryn Hill and Rakim.
What song?
Final Hour with Lauryn Hill, Superstar with Lauryn Hill, Rakim, all of his stuff. Man, yeah, all of Rakim's stuff, like the whole,
Spit it right now.
the whole deal. Yeah. The R, follow the leader. I ain't no joke. Yeah.
One record. Yeah. Which one record? Which one record between Lauren and Ra? Which one out of those records you mentioned? If you say put your poetry on one of your favorite records,
It would be Final Hour.
Okay.
Final Hour for Lauryn Hill. Probably Follow the Leader.
Record. I'm going to now.
Oh. Well, okay. So Final Hour. Final Hour.
All right.
Yeah, Final Hour.
And Marvin got one about what's going on. I definitely spit on it.
All right.
I want to ask you too, Jay. When you go through pain, what do you laugh at?
I don't laugh, sir. I think. I drink. Smoke
you
weed.
fight the pain?
I don't. I haven't learned how to rationalize pain yet. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Super transparent moment. I really don't. You know what I'm saying? My mama died at 21. My dad died at 19. They was married 50 years. We moved to Georgia 4 months after my mama died. I didn't want to be in the same state she was not in anymore. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes to it, no, I couldn't even answer that. I don't know. And if anybody know, reach me at 313. No, for real, like it's
You just numb it down.
I mean, not even numb it down. It's there. It comes out. It probably comes out in other forms. Be yelling at the children. Be like, yeah, damn, baby, you ain't got. You know what I'm saying? Like, for real. Because, you know, we as black men don't get taught that.
Right.
You know, I never seen my dad cry. My dad got beat like a slave as a child. Took his brother down from a tree before. You know what I'm saying? Like, pain. We don't know. We really don't get to rationalize it or understand it or why we go through it or how to deal with it. We just live. Like me and Peace was homeless at one point, and a lot of people was like, "Well, how did y'all do it?" And you don't think about it when you're going through it. You just go through it. You just do what you got to do, and you keep moving. And then you look back like, "Damn, we did that." You know what I'm saying? So it's just it's a process. It's a moment, and it's an ongoing thing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Thank God for comedy. I say that all the time. Thank God for comedy. I won't say it solved it, but it sure enough mended it. Like it sure enough put some pressure on the wound that's there, because I was able to make light of a situation that was very serious, and could have ended me.
So your love for the passion overrides a paycheck.
Absolutely. Right. I've done this for free. I know what Jordan is talking about. Right. It's very few times that you can connect to one of your heroes and hear them say something and you know what they feel like. I may not have had a stand full of people yelling my name or scored 50 points in the garden, but when that brother said, I play basketball for free, I understood when I started doing comedy. I understood it.
Right.
Because I wasn't getting paid.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Not knowing the game, not knowing the business, and I'm still going through stuff.
Right.
But I enjoy the craft of it so much. I enjoy making somebody laugh, because you never know who's coming to see you and what they are going through, and more importantly, how you can help them change their day, even if it's for a minute. You ever had just a whole bunch of pressure on you, and then it gets released, even if it's for a second, and you just feel the greatest relief of your life, like you've never felt this before. That's what a laugh can do for people. And that's what I had food poisoning Thursday or Wednesday, and it was leading into Thursday, and we still did They Say.
Wow.
Had to. And I told my wife earlier, yeah, I ain't gonna do it tonight. Wouldn't put a condenser unit in and everything early. I was like, 'cause I got to.
Right.
But it was like, yeah, I'm just not gonna do it tonight. And then it was just something that was like, you gotta go. You gotta, because you don't know what'll happen. You don't know who you know what I'm saying, push forward, or who you inspire, or who just needs to have a good time, and who's gonna see you for the first time. You don't know. Right. So be on your best and be on your P's and Q's every chance you get. That's what I'm learning from this career.
Yeah, so we want to tell people where to contact y'all and what else y'all got going on, any projects, anything like that. I know Peace about to go do a show now, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Love Jones is featuring at the Dream Suite in Farmington Hills tonight at 7:00. You can find us on all social media platforms at Claritha Peace Bell. You can find us at Open Mind Mike Series, J Bell Comedy. You can find us on Facebook, Claritha Peace Bell, J Bell Comedy on Facebook. We're at They Say every Thursday, 8 to 11, live band, poetry, comedy, music. Come see us. Yeah.
Open mic, and Jay probably will call you and put you on the spot.
I definitely will. Because here's the thing: if I fucks with you, I fucks with you.
Right.
You know.
So, brother, when you go, he gonna be like, "Come up here, DJ, man.
Come on, man. Get this work." Every third Saturday of the month, I host a once a month comedy show at They Say on Veneer. The one we host on Thursday is 267 Joseph Campu downtown, and then there's another location in Harper Woods on Veneer. 17810 Veneer. That's the We Laugh comedy show hosted by J Bell. DJ She Rocks on the ones and twos. And then every last Saturday of the month, I'm out in Flint at the Urban Cafe with the 810 Comedy Improv by Kay Clemens. And I've been doing the comedy show in Detroit probably about 3 months. The one in Flint, I've been doing 3 years.
Okay. And
just hosting. And shout out to Kay Clemens. She's the proprietor of 810 Comedy. So it's just, and it's a blessing. Like I said, the people in those areas have been going through so much that laughter is much needed and a medicine. Comedy is laughter is like a medicine for the soul.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It even says that in the book. So, yeah.
Right.
Well, tell us, you guys got, a family of kids. Give us a message for the kids out there, man. Y'all really got love in y'all house, man. Give us something for the youth.
I'm so glad that we've been able to be creative examples for our children. I think that creativity is so important. They're finally putting creativity back into the schools.
Yeah.
They took that out with music
Woodshop
and art.
class.
Man, absolutely, absolutely. That's what helps children deal with the academic aspect of school. So the arts and creativity, like, keep some kind of creativity with the youth. I'm telling you, it helps to keep them and steer them away from trouble. And it just it's beautiful because it's a way for them to express themselves. So yeah, keep creativity in the youth's lives, like, by all means. Absolutely. What you got?
2 things from my mother. Okay. One, you already know. No, you know both of them. My mother used to tell me something as a child and it pissed me off because it didn't explain nothing until I got older. And she used to say, keep living. Keep living. Every time I went through something, keep living. And I was like, what in the, why?
Right.
What do you mean keep living? Of course I'm gonna live. I'm gonna get tomorrow. Like, that's the impatience I had. But as she passed, I heard her words so clear, keep living. You'll make it through. Trouble don't last always. Keep living. Keep living. Keep living, because this is an experience that you learn, and this is a moment in time. But let's be clear, it's just a moment, and other moments will happen. Keep living. That was one thing she told me. The other thing for the youth is, and this is so real for today, my mother was an English teacher, Detroit Public Schools, 30 years, okay? She would tell her students, listen, you could be one or 2 things. You can be dumb, but don't be stupid. You can be stupid, but don't be dumb. And she used to say that, and they used to frazzle me because I was like, both of them dumb though. Right. But if you look up the definition terms of them, dumb is the actual ignorance of not knowing. Stupid is having the knowledge of knowing but not applying.
Right.
So when you one or 2 things, you know what I'm saying, like you going to jail for doing something dumb, well, you didn't know what you was doing anyway. You might have leniency, you might not.
Right.
You go to jail for being stupid. Well, you knew what you was about to be doing. You're just being stupid.
Yeah.
Like, it's those things right there that pop up so much, and it hits me. And I think we don't have the matriarch and the patriarchs of the family to pass down that advice because it was so frustrating on how we got it. But it was imperative on the success in our lives because it finally made sense. It finally kicked in. And I think that's the thing that's missing right now. But the teacher presents herself to the student when the student is ready. So the students have to become ready.
Right.
And that's the conundrum we in right now. It was 12 shootings Friday.
Yeah.
Hey, shooting
downtown.
Pizza and everything.
Yeah. It's wild. But the fear of God is real. But when you don't fear God, you don't fear nothing.
Right.
Until you in a twist, you started being in that jail, and you guys sitting there with taking his shirt off.
Yeah.
Calling God the wrong time.
You gonna call him?
You want some materialism, or you
Oh Lord. Be in the jam.
We looking forward to seeing y'all comedy special with the poetry.
Absolutely.
Netflix holler at them for that special.
Yes.
Reality show, all that good stuff. We're going to put it out there.
All y'all IG comedians with the knock jokes and the chicken cross the road jokes. This is a real comedian right here. T.I. hit him up.
This B-Boy Rage.
I'm DJ Butter, y'all.
And this Funky Fresh in the Flesh. And we out.
Peace.
Peace.